Hello, dear friends. The tide of events is manifesting an emerging future. Opinion piece. He's back. Cover of time. The storm has arrived. 2025, year of disclosure. The most important weekend. Red moon at inauguration. Trump suspends US foreign aid. Rare alignment of 7 planets. Trump pardons 1,500 political prisoners. Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone will rebuild Hollywood. Let's start. A short video on the cover of Time magazine says it all. It represents an emblematic image announcing the return of Donald Trump to the White House as the 47th President of the US. This interactive cover shows the presidential desk in the Oval Office, covered with papers representing the work accumulated during the Biden administration. In a short animation, Trump appears and pushes everything off the table, accompanied by the text, "He's back." This symbolic cover reflects Trump's disruptive personality and anticipates the significant changes in his second term could bring. The gesture of this array on the presidential desk suggests a break with previous policies and potentially radical approach in his new presidential term. The magazine also published an article entitled "Donald Trump's Disruption is Back," which analyzes the impact of his return to the presidency and the challenges he will face in his second term. This special edition of Time highlights Trump's controversial nature and the uncertainty surrounding his return to power, foreshadowing a period of great change and tension both inside and outside the US. Final battle. According to Benjamin Fulford, now that Trump takes power, the final battle for planet Earth begins. To win, he must nationalize the Federal Reserve Board and end its system of Babylonian debt slavery. The future of our species is at stake. If we lose this battle, we will spend eternity on the human equivalent of factory chicken farms. If we win, we will be able to choose our own future according to our dreams and desires. Since so much is at stake, it is a good time to step back and look at the brighter picture. Most human beings, especially those in the so-called civilized world, have been slaves for so long that we don't even realize it. When Fulford visited the P2 Freemason who controlled Western civilization, they admitted that their version of Christianity was a religion designed to control slaves. The owners of the other central banks have controlled people like him for millennia to turn this planet into a giant centralized monoculture controlled by them. Whether people realize it or not, the election of Donald Trump is a major reaction against this ancient system of control. However, the big problem he is expected to announce is an economic emergency. Although he hints at abolishing the Treasury and replacing the IRS, and replacing it with tariffs, he makes no mention of nationalizing the Federal Reserve or issuing government money as written into the Constitution. This is because he needs to come to terms with China first. The US has an annual trade deficit on $1 trillion with the rest of the world, while the Chinese have a trade surplus of about the same size. Even if Trump were to impose a 100% tariff on Chinese goods, China would simply move its factories to places like Vietnam and Mexico, and the US would still run a deficit. If Trump were to impose 100% tariffs on the rest of the world, the US would instantly implode and became a small, isolated country. Breaking news. The most important weekend in history is coming up. Enjoy it, says Trump. Joe and Kamala were both as they entered the inaugural ceremony. The cost of goods and services increased by 21% during Biden's term. There is speculation that Trump's real reason for moving the inauguration indoors was the lack of cooperation from the police, who refused to send officers to the event. Red moon on the eve of the investiture. In various cultures, the red moon is interpreted as an omen. In ancient Mesopotamia, it was considered a threat to the life of the king. The Trump meme coin cryptocurrency is crazy. Trump will push a crypto system to get rid of the $36 trillion national debt. Trump pardons all 1,500 January 6 political prisoners. According to Mike Adams, Trump kept his promise and granted 1,500 pardons to January 6 hostages. He also declared emergencies to help secure the border, refocus on domestic energy production, and end U.S. participation in the WHO and Paris Accords. Trump names Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and John Boyd to rebuild Hollywood. Trump promised to commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht, the creator of the website called Silk Road, according to Josh Eaton. Representative Thomas Massie introduces bill to audit the Federal Reserve. Trump promises, I will end the war in Ukraine. I will end the chaos in the Middle East and prevent a third world war from happening. President Trump announced his plan to release all JFK files. He revealed that this release will also include files related to Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and other figures of historical interest, and promised that it will happen in the coming days. Another promise Trump made. I am going to give you a report on drones one day after the administration starts, because I think it's ridiculous that they are not telling you what is going on with drones. RFK Jr. wants to remove any protections from manufacturers of mandatory medication. Trump suspends U.S. foreign aid for 90 days pending throughout reviews to determine if it is aligned with his policy goals. Entry from Mexico into the U.S. is suspended immediately. Juan Osabin says he has been contacted by military officials who have told him they have already received orders that have to do with the border. Tom Homan confirms that immigration raids will begin on Tuesday in several cities, that they are very organized and coordinated, and that they will look for threats for public safety. According to Lorenzo Z., a storm is brewing. Mass deportations will begin on Tuesday in Chicago. Illegal immigrants will rise up in 10 major countries. According to Lorenzo Z., we have won one battle, but there is still a huge war to win. The dark plan is deeply rooted in our society and our way of life. This is not the time to sit back and relax. Has the storm arrived? According to Brian John Depth, we have spent hundreds of billions of dollars protecting the borders of Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, South Korea, and other countries, while leaving our border open with a big welcome mat. Trump's team does not expect a breakthrough to end the war in Ukraine for at least another 6 months, according to the Telegram. France sends 3,000 troops to Ukraine. UK next. According to Nick Giambruno, Russia, China, and their allies want to transform the current US-led world order, which has been in place since the end of World War II, from unipolar to multipolar, giving themselves a bigger seat at the table in the process. The US and its allies wanted unipolar status quo to prevail. Middle East. Israel has released 90 Palestinian hostages, women and children, as part of a hostage exchange deal. Some of them had been held hostage for years. Hamas releases first 3 Israeli hostages. Thousands swarm the area of Israelis are shocked by the sheer number of Hamas soldiers. According to George Eaton, they want to relocate 2 million Palestinians from Gaza to Indonesia. UN Smart City for Gaza takes shape. What may be left is a small enclave where domesticated Arabs can perform in front of the cameras. On January 19, 2025, 3 Israeli prisoners were given graduation certificates in Gaza, showing that they had completed courses in Arab and Palestinian history and culture. They smiled, internalizing the idea that reconciliation between the two nations is of utmost importance. England. The UK will become the world's leading test bed for the application of artificial intelligence, according to Keir Starmer of the Davos Forum. British MP Andrew Bridgen accuses his colleagues of being pedophiles. Elon Musk releases British government documents outlining the level of abuse. Farmers burst into laughter as British police show up to tow away 9 7-ton tractors with a small pickup truck. Curious. A right alignment of 7 planets is in the sky: Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn. Archaeologists discover an impressive bath complex in Pompeii, where guests could take a dip before sitting down to sumptuous feasts. According to the latest Open Doors report, more than 380 million Christians are suffering persecution and discrimination. According to Walter Waite, Catholicism may have influenced or even orchestrated the rise of Islam to achieve certain geopolitical and theological goals. According to Space Commando, unprecedented Arctic cold will spread to Cuba, while California insurers are running a funding shortfall 20 times larger to cover the fires. This could cause a black swan to cascade over the economy. According to Dr. Willison, the elite secretly know that solar storms are the cause of the current weather change, while selling you the narrative that it is driven by humans. They know the geophysical event is coming and are trying to postpone it so they can better prepare their doomsday bunkers. Kerry Kay reveals preparation for pole shift. It is preceded by our own first on an energetic level and then on a physical level. We are now preparing ourselves, and the light missioners who are at the forefront embody the new energetic turn. This will continue to develop well into the year 2025. According to George Eaton, benevolent aliens want to help us, protect us and defend us from the malevolent ones. The problem is that the wealthy globalists have worked with the malevolent ones and have duplicated their technology for their own purposes. 2025, year of revelations according to Singdath. This will be an absolutely crucial year. Those who have prepared themselves spiritually and psychologically and physically will mostly find relief in the great changes. Truth at last. But those who cling to old paradigms may find the changes challenging and shocking. According to Cliff High, over the past 80 years, the enemy of humankind has been offered repeated opportunities to return, to disassociate themselves from their path of abuse. They refused. Their reasons are their own. They have decided. The stream of events is manifesting an emerging future. Now we, warriors, are making our choices. I choose the black blade. It accumulates no karma. No quota will be asked. That time has passed. That time is almost up. We are committed. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.